authentic, and I'm very happy to have you guys here today. Well, this week we are going to be talking about the issues that have been affecting us for the past few months, for the past 1 month, I think, or so, in the whole world. And with the death of George Floyd, I think I would say that it has brought about a revolution, and we are going back and we are analyzing and we are thinking about things that have been affecting us, such as racism, police brutality, and right here in Nigeria, our nation, we are talking about police brutality also, but also sexual abuse, rape, and molestation. And this issue is such a sensitive issue, especially in Africa and especially in northern Nigeria here where we live, because it's not usually something. The topic is deemed so sensitive that we do not speak about it, that we don't talk about it, we just hide. And because it has such a stigma to it. Now, if you go online, there are so many things, so many people are talking, and you get confused a little bit. Where do we start? Where do we go from here? How do we stop this? And for me, I feel like the best way that we can stop it, yes, the government are doing their things with having different laws and different ways, to get people and how to hold rapists and pedophiles accountable for what they've been doing. But for me, I feel, and that's all good and fine, but I feel that if we want to change our society, that we have to start at home, whether it's racism, whether it's sexual abuse. With racism, it's all about teaching our kids to love each other the way that we all are. And not just with racism, but also with deformities, teaching to love each other the way that we are. Whether you have a friend who's on a wheelchair or you have a friend who doesn't have a leg, trying to teach our children that everybody is good and everybody is kind, and showing them how to be kind and humble towards others. And with sexual abuse, there's a lot of questions that comes with it, such as how young is too young? When do we start educating our kids? How do we approach this topic? There's actually a network, there's an Instagram profile that I found, I think about 2 days ago. It is called the I Teach Network. I'm going to leave the name of their profile on the screen. It's called the I Teach Network. And what these people do is they teach parents on how parents, and not just parents, but guardians and older siblings, how you can teach your child and how you can show your child, the best way to broach topics like this with your children. Now, like I said, for me, changing the way that we think, changing things like sexual abuse starts at home. How do we start it, right? It starts with not only teaching our girl child how she can protect herself, but also telling our boy child on how to respect women and how not to do things to girls. I mean, how many fathers have actually sat their sons down? Have sat their sons down and told their sons, you can't touch a woman like this, you can't touch a girl like this, you can't do this, you can't do that. How many? I am a strong believer that we are a product of our environment, and I feel like, because children learn a lot of things from what they see, and sadly, the world that we live in today is a very pornographic world. I mean, how many of us actually scroll through Instagram without seeing one picture of a person in a bikini or someone that is like half nude or things like that? And the generation where we live in, you see kids as early as 10, 11, 12 years old. They already have phones. They're on Instagram. They see these things and they're curious because they're young. They're curious and they start looking for ways to hone in that curiosity. And sadly, in some cases that I've actually seen and I've actually read, I actually saw a case where a 13-year-old boy actually molested a 12-year-old girl, not because he was a bad person, not because he wanted to do, but because he was curious. with things that he has seen. I also feel that we as a society, it is up to us to create that safe place where our children, our younger siblings can come to us and tell us what is wrong, how they can come to us and discuss issues like this with us. It's time that we stop, hiding behind saying, oh, this is such a sensitive issue, let's not talk about it. No, it's time that we stop hiding behind that and actually face it, because this has become our reality. The level of rape and sexual assault, like if you hear stories, you will be so disgusted. And society has hid behind, oh, it's such a sensitive issue, let's not talk about it. But it's now affecting our society, so we have to talk about it. I hope that somebody, let's say for example, like a doctor in a very good place, like a woman, they can actually have like an event, especially here in the north, where they can call mothers and call daughters. Let's talk about things like this and actually teach mothers on how to broach this topic with their children. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that and go on forward to the next part of this blog. I just want to say thank you very much to those people who subscribed to my channel and those people who watched my videos. And I actually got a couple of questions. I got, I think, 4 questions from people, and the questions that I got, they were very kind of like, I had to stay and think about them actually. Question number 1 was, what does independence mean to you? For me, independence is making your own decisions, having your own opinions without needing a second party to validate those decisions and opinions for you. Like, you can live with your parents, you can live alone, you can live with your husband and your family. But if you cannot make decisions by yourself, if you can't have your own opinions, then for me, like, you're not independent. You can live alone, but you can't make your own decisions, and that's not independence. And you can live with your family and with your parents or your husband and be able to make your own decisions and have your own opinion, and that to me is independence. The second question was, how do you deal with insecurities, if you have any? And I was just like, oh, come on. Everybody has insecurities. We just deal with them in different ways. And for me, I deal with insecurities by facing them head on and not hiding behind them. Like, I think if you would ask a couple of my friends if I'm insecure about my weight, they would tell you no. Hell no. But that's not the truth, actually. The truth is that I am very insecure about my weight, but I do not allow it to affect me. I do not allow it to stop me from doing whatever I want to do, and I face it head on, and I don't let anybody tell me, you're too fat or you're too chubby. I don't let anybody do that to me. The third question was, how has your childhood affected you positively as an adult, and how has it affected you negatively as an adult? For me, as a child, I was very naive and unaware. So when people would be like, you are so fat, you are so cute, like you're so short, you're so chubby, and all those things, I would just be like, what are you talking about? That was me. I would be like, huh? What are you talking about? Of course I am not. When people would be like, oh, for example, you're ugly or you're this, I would just be like, what are you talking about? I am the most beautiful person in the world. And with that, people just see you as, people used to be like, what is going on? Like, we're telling her she's this and she's laughing, she's saying she's not that. There must be something wrong with her. So how that has affected me negatively is that I hate being made a fool of. Because when those people would be like, there's something wrong with her, they would laugh at me and be like, oh, she doesn't understand. They would laugh. They would make me feel like I was a fool. So right now, as an adult, I hate being made a fool of. I hate being made a fool of. I hate being... The worst thing that you can do to me is embarrass me and make me look like a fool. Like, I will hate you if you do that to me. But how that, unawareness and naivety and that attitude of like, I'm a beautiful person, or I don't care what you say about me. How it has positively affected me in my adulthood is confidence. It has given me confidence. The fact that I don't care what anybody says. I am beautiful. I love the way that I am. I love the way that I look. The fourth question is, what bad traits do you have? And when I saw the question, I was like, this person wants me to come and start talking about, my flaws. But this is what my channel is all about. It's talking about insecurities, flaws, and things that affect us. So, one bad trait that I have is that I hate confrontations. And what that leads to, because I hate confrontations, it leads to me holding things in. For example, I had a friend, and as friends, you say things to each other that you don't mean sometimes, and people get hurt and stuff like that. But for me, she would do things, and I would just kind of like, I would just hold it in. I would let it go, but I would hold it in, and I would never come to her and tell her, like, you did this, you hurt me, and never give her that, chance to apologize to me. And I just kept holding things in, which is something that I do a lot. I prefer to hold it in instead of coming to you and telling you. And what that does is that it builds up until finally I just like exploded on her, to the point that I was like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And it actually took me a couple of months for me to be able to be like, wow, you really did not do the best thing there. You'd never give her that chance to say sorry to you after, hurting you. So I went back to her and I explained to her, and it's actually something that I'm working on right now. I'm learning to be more confrontational, and instead of keeping things in, letting those things out. And with that, this is going to be the end of this vlog. I love you guys so much. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave me your comments. Leave me your comments down below. Tell me what you guys want to see. Let us start a conversation. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye!